Hey, good evening. It's the weekend. I'm playing Immaculate Grid. I'm going for a low rarity score. You know the drill by now. Or if you don't and you're new, welcome. But that's what I do here. I play Immaculate Grid and I go for a low rarity score. I'm trying to pull the most obscure baseball knowledge I can to cobble together a 3x3 grid. It's a good way to spend 10 or 15 minutes. Let's see. Yesterday was like reliever day, right? So I hit all the 40 save people. It wasn't optimal. It turns out I would have been better with Rafael Soriano and Brian Fuentes, who had 48 saves 1 year with the Angels. Those were the optimal picks. I think one commenter got them, but the saves category, the 40 saves category yesterday was definitely a grid buster. Let's see if there's any grid busters today and see how I do with them. We're on 200 strikeouts, which could be a grid buster. So we do have the Brewers though on the top. That's my team. There's a lot of Brewer hats up there. There's also a Kansas City A's hat there. So that's cool. St. Louis Cardinals, Baltimore Orioles slash St. Louis Browns, and then Minnesota Twins slash Washington Senators. Of course, that doesn't really matter for the Brewers, but we might be able to make something work with the A's here. For example, if we were to go with, say, Chris Speaker, who played predominantly with the Red Sox and uh, Cleveland Naps. They might have changed the name to Indians somewhere in there, but he was mainly with those teams. But he played his final two seasons with the Senators and then the A's or some order like that. So that's a pretty good pick. Let's see how that does. 0.2% from a man with well over 100 career WAR. It's pretty good. I'm not as good with strikeouts. I feel like Johan Santana is a good one to go with there. Um, but I mean, I think he'll be extremely he'll get a lot of love, a lot of these. Probably also Burt Blyleven. Frank Viola, I'm not as sure about. I didn't really watch Viola pitch, and I don't have a good conception of how often he struck people out. So. Um, Not sure about Brad Radke. He didn't seem like a big K guy, but maybe I'm not remembering him right. Don't think Liriano pitched enough in Minnesota in any one given season to strike out 200 people. Or excuse me, Baltimore or St. Louis here. Again, I'm like Jim Palmer probably, Mike Kuehler maybe, Mike Flanagan maybe, Steve Stone maybe, Mike Mussina definitely. And then for the Cardinals, um, let's see. Bob Gibson, certainly. Uh, Adam Wainwright, probably. Chris Carpenter, probably. Don't know about John Tudor. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting one. See how that shakes out. Let's just knock out the Brewers category. We've got Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals, Central Division rivals. Rivalry dating actually all the way back to 1982 when they Cardinals beat the Brewers in the World Series. Darrell Porter was the MVP of that series. He works for both teams. Ted Simmons was the Brewers catcher on that team. He'll work for both teams, as will Pete Vukovich. Um, and then more recently, Cal Eldred will work. So will Fernando Vina. Those are some 90s Brewers that I grew up with. Um, Colton Wong, I think will, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Colton Wong will probably be the most popular one, just because of the recency there. Although as we saw yesterday, recency isn't everything. Um, I think I'm gonna try out Cal Eldred. So for his opening day starter in the 1998 season. He had a fantastic start to his career. 92, 93. His first 30 or so starts absolutely dominant, but fizzles out after a little while. Goes sub 1%. Love that basic M. Nostalgia kicking in there. Let's see. Then Brewers and Orioles. BJ Surhoff will definitely work. Jeffrey Hammonds will work. Um, think of any the really big name people. Francisco Rodriguez will work. He played with the Orioles ever so briefly and the Brewers twice. Let's see, we got Surhoff, we got yeah, not sure. Yeah, just run around the horn. I think Surhoff will do pretty well. He played a number of years with both teams. He had a really good season with over 200 hits with the Orioles. I think it was 1999, but he had long stretches with both teams. Um, some other Brewers I'd like to go with that hit a lot of teams but won't work here. I mean, Marquise Grissom will not work. Um, Mike Cameron will not work. These are some good go-tos. Francisco Rodriguez does hit a lot of teams, so he might be a sneaky pick. I mentioned someone else, right? Yeah, I had another. Oh, Ben McDonald's would work. That might be a better one. Sneak Ben McDonald in there. Let's see how he does. And then I have a little bit of a theme going because Eldred and McDonald were, I think, basically 1 and 2 starters in that 96-97 time frame. Takes 3%. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. Might have been better off going with like Francisco Rodriguez there because he didn't play very long in Baltimore. And then Brewers and Twins. Carlos Gomez and JJ Hardy would both work. They were swapped for one another. Paul Molitor will work. He'll be, I think, a pretty popular pick. Finished his career, guys, 3,000th hit with the Twins. Later, the Twins manager. His number is retired by the Brewers. Corey Koskie will work. Jeff Cirillo will work. He briefly played for the Twins. And I'm a big Jeff Cirillo fan, and I just want to see that basic M again. That's the he must that must be on his second stint with the Brewers because when he was like hitting 320 every year, that was the cap he was wearing. But that's all right. A's and Cardinals. Gonna go ahead and predict that Mark McGwire will do very well there. Dennis Eckersley also played for both teams. I think I'm gonna go with one Todd Stottlemyre, who I've definitely used before. When involving the Blue Jays, might be that I've hit him with all combinations of 3 teams, but he takes 0.1%, so that was a good pick. And then let's see, A's and Orioles. Al Simmons, I love to go with, doesn't work here. He never was a St. Louis Brown. I want to say Goslin won't work. Heinemanish might work, but I'm not super sure on that one. You want to be at least somewhat sure if you're gonna roll those dice with a player from the 30s. Um, yeah, even as I'm getting more modern, I'm trying to piece someone together. I got one. I've used him before. I've used him for the Orioles before. I'm just gonna keep using him because I love the story because he like left he just played like a week with the Orioles so he could play with his son, Tim Raines Jr. So it warms my heart selecting Tim Raines. He takes 0.1%. So far I've gone under 1% on everyone except Ben McDonald, who is oddly popular there. So that's one there, 2.6, 5.6 right now. All right. Well, that's not going to keep going. Yeah. What to do here? What to do here? The truth of the matter is I'm not great with 200 strikeouts. I should spend a little time on this, but um I list off a bunch of people at the beginning of the episode who I think might have gotten 200 strikeouts. I wasn't all that sure on any of them. Bob Gibson, I'm quite sure on. So I could put him in for the Cardinals. For the Orioles, like I can't think of any St. Louis Browns who would have done it, but for the Orioles, I'm feeling pretty confident on Mussina and probably Jim Palmer. Trying to think of anyone recently who might have done it. And then for the Twins, I'm feeling very confident on Johan Santana. Less so on Urban Santana. Um, but maybe. Frank Viola, not super confident on. Brad Radke, not super confident on. Not one way or another. I'm trying to remember if these guys. I mean, I didn't really watch Viola pitch. I did watch Radke pitch a little bit. I'm trying to remember if these guys are huge strikeout guys. In any event, I think the most popular ones will be Gibson, Mussina, and uh and Santana. Johan Santana going on down. Jim Perry. I remember one of these grids. Jim Perry was the oddball. There were only three Cy Young winners. Viola and Santana were the two that got almost all the votes, but then votes, whatever. But then Perry got like 2%. He won the 1970 Cy Young Award. Well, actually, you know what? I think Blyleven is safe, but not, but won't be as big as Santana, I think. Yeah, let's see how he does. 18%. Okay, so grid busted. That's all right. Um, I know Rick Sutcliffe briefly was with the Orioles, but I don't know how big his strikeout totals were. What about Andy Bennis? Matt Morris. How about these guys? Daryl Kyle, maybe? He played a couple decent years for Cardinals. Died while with the Cardinals, sadly. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Let's go with Andy Bennis. It's a good 90s name. Dang, didn't get it. All right. I'll just get Messina. So not even a good score. Messina was not if even if I had gotten it. Okay, Messina was a hugely obvious pick. Okay. Maybe I gave up a little I should have put in a little bit more effort on that last one. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see all the Cardinals. Let's just do all the 200 strikeouts. Um, yeah, Gibson. Oh, Steve Carlton. Yeah, I should have realized he would have gotten a season in there with the Cardinals. Um, I wasn't getting it Flaherty or Martinez. I did say Wainwright and Carpenter more than likely. I was never gonna get Icebox Chamberlain, but I'm never gonna forget him now. I didn't realize this American Association team would count even. But all right. Jose De Leon. All right. That's an interesting pick. And then from the Orioles, I picked by far the worst. Rube Waddell. I've used him before, but not here. McNally would have worked. Palmer would not have worked. I would have been wrong about that. Eric Bedard, one season. I forgot he did have a sneaky good season with Baltimore in there. And then let's look at the Twins. So I said Blyleven. Liriano did pitch enough one year to get to 200 strikeouts. I was wrong. Dean Chance, 1964 NL or Major League Cy Young winner. He beat out Koufax as a member of the Angels. Jim Cat does do it. Oh, and Walter Johnson does it a bunch of times. I should have gotten Walter Johnson. All right. Not my best effort. I should have been able to come up with Walter Johnson. Not really kicking myself on too much of the rest. Um, but uh, but yeah, for the Cardinals, I took a shot, and that was That was, as it turns out, a lousy shot. Let's just look it up for fun. Let's see how close I was on Andy Benes. He even got Cy Young votes, I think. Turns third, man, not close at all. He led the league in strikeouts one year. He led the league in strikeouts in 1994. His K per nine way up. Works for the Mariners. He was on that 95 Mariners team. Fascinating. But yeah, look at that. He was also on the expansion Diamondbacks. He was the ace of the expansion Diamondbacks before Randy Johnson came along. But yeah, he if he'd been striking out people at this rate in this season, he would have gotten me the grid, but was not meant to be. Oh well. Thanks a lot for playing. Have a great weekend. I'll try to do better tomorrow, but this was fun regardless, was it not? Anyway, yeah, take care.